Every once in a while, there is a new comics event so important that even the mainstream media outlets look up and take notice. In 2011, a new Spider-Man to the world, Miles Morales, a boy of black Hispanic descent, newly gifted with arachnid abilities. Peter Parker may be the most iconic hero of the Marvel Universe, but Miles Morales isn't going anywhere. We're here to bring you up to spider speed on Marvel's newest smash hit superhero. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, and you should do whatever a fan of CBR can, and subscribe to our channel today.
Robbie, there's your page one. Masked menace terrorizes town.
I told you he's not a menace.
And I told you...
I'll take care of it.
I'll give you 150.
300.
That's outrageous. Done. Give this to the girl. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Presidential inspiration. Stan Lee has stated he firmly believes a large part of Spider-Man's enormous success, other than the strength of the story, is his full face mask. Those big eyes, along with his entire body being covered in spandex, meant that anyone, from any race, country, or creed, could be behind the mask. In 2008, Marvel began discussing the idea of taking this concept to the next level during the election of Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States. The swearing in of America's first black president opened a lot of doors. In the comic book world, it gave the writers a desire to embrace the increasingly multicultural progression of the United States. If Spider-Man could be anyone, the writers felt that it was important to show that. Talk of creating an African-American Spider-Man continued with both fans and creators. Many believe the event, which finally convinced well-respected comic book writer Brian Michael Bendis to go for it, was actor Donald Glover, a star of the postmodern sitcom Community, and hip-hop performer Childish Gambino, actively campaigned for the role of Peter Parker in Sony's 2012's Amazing Spider-Man reboot. Andrew Garfield was eventually cast, but Glover's push for the role and the fan support was directly responsible for the creation of Miles Morales.
Oh! Is it really you? The one from another dimension?
Unless you were expecting the Spider Knight.
How did you find me?
I used this ancient technology called the phone book. Couldn't believe it. Everyone's in that thing.
Ultimate Origins. Miles Morales inherits the role of Spider-Man after Peter Parker is killed in action. Your confusion is understood, as Peter is alive and well in the current timeline of the comics. Miles was created within the Ultimate line of comics, a parallel universe that chronicled the beginnings of Marvel's famous superheroes and updated them with contemporary sensibilities. When the teenaged Parker dies heroically, an even younger Miles Morales witnesses his death and is inspired to take up the mantle of his fallen idol, battling bad guys and being accused of poor taste in the Ultimate Universe. Here's where it gets wonky. After the conclusion of the massive multiverse-shattering event Secret Wars, the Ultimate Universe is no more. It's a lot to digest, but essentially, when Molecule Man recreates the entire 616 Marvel Universe, he does Miles a solid by incorporating the new Spider-Man and his immediate family into the regular Marvel Universe. Since Peter Parker is still alive, that means the Marvel Universe now has two Spider-Men. This has become a trend recently, with other heroes such as Captain America also having multiple counterparts, each doing their own thing simultaneously. While all this stuff complicates Miles' backstory, it also gives him the freedom to become a major Marvel character.
Spider-Man, please, I need your help. I can't do it without you. If you really need help, I'm your guy.
Also bitten by a spider, Miles gets his powers the same way that Peter does, a bite from a genetically altered spider. But whereas Peter's costume identity is the result of a freak accident, Miles encounters his spider due to the criminal actions of his uncle. Apparently, with great power comes great uncle issues in your origin story. It all begins when Dr. Conrad Marcus, a researcher at Oscorp, attempts to recreate the company's trademark Oz formula by experimenting with Peter Parker's blood. When suddenly, as they say in the comic biz, Miles' criminal uncle, Aaron Davis, breaks in and steals the Oz formula. Sometime later, when Miles visits his uncle's apartment, going against the wishes of his father, who doesn't trust his criminal brother, the genetically modified spider creeps onto his hand and bites him, transferring its abilities to him.
But when I got the powers of Spider-Man, with them came this great sense of responsibility. And I don't know if I can do it. What if I just don't have it in me to be a hero like people like you?
Not thrilled about getting powers. You'd think Miles would be ecstatic with his new powers, but there's always a catch. In almost every version of his story, Peter often struggles with the burden of being Spider-Man. There's no question that his reaction to finding out about his new superhuman abilities was sheer excitement. He sees these amazing powers as a way to break free from the isolated existence he's lived up until that point, seeking out fame and celebrity like a moth to the flame. It's only after Uncle Ben's death that Peter decides to use his powers for a greater cause. For Miles, it goes a bit differently. Unlike Peter, Peter, who initially saw the spider powers as a gateway to fame, Miles is horrified by his new abilities and wants them to go away. He's no interest in being a celebrity, but also has no interest in saving the world. He wants nothing more than to go back to having a normal, healthy, non-heroic life. But just like with Peter, this new hero's life changes when responsibility knocks on his door. Miles is a witness to Peter being killed, and the boy realizes that if he'd intervened, he could have saved the hero.
My name is Miles Morales, and I'm Spider-Man. We're not ghosts, right? Because if I'm dead, my mom and dad are gonna kill me.
Miles' powers are a bit different. Much like Parker's Spider-Man, Miles gets a pretty awesome set of spider-themed skills. Miles can crawl on walls, fling himself through the air, and lift up heavy objects like they're paperweights. He thwips across the city with the best of them. He also has an extra sensory spider sense that warns him of impending danger, though the ability isn't as strong as Peter's. His web shooters are actually the same ones that Peter used, handed down to him when he meets Peter's Aunt May, staying true to the original version of Spider-Man, using technology for slinging webs and swinging through the city. But there's more to Miles than meets the eye. He possesses some pretty cool new tricks up his spandex sleeve. For example, the Venom Blast, a bioelectric shock that he creates by releasing a small spark of electricity from his hands. Miles also possesses a Venom Sting, which can paralyze anyone he touches with only the slightest contact, no matter their size. The Venom Sting can cut right through most objects. On top of all this, Miles is also capable of camouflaging himself to match his surroundings like a chameleon. This cloaking ability allows him to sneak in or out of any sticky situation.
Don't freak out. I'm you.
Whoa. I'm not you. You're dead, which makes me dead. No way. Neither of us could be dead. That's impossible, Peter Parker. So you're not dead?
His uncle is the Prowler. Aaron Davis is the Prowler, a high-tech costume burglar. This, of course, is in the Ultimate Universe. On Earth 616, the Prowler is Hobby Brown. He has similar powers and similar love of the color purple. He also currently pretends to be Spider-Man sometimes because he now works for Peter Parker. Uncle Aaron's criminal activities were once a duo act as he teamed up with his brother Jefferson. All this changed when Jefferson met a woman named Rio Morales and became a father to Miles, casting aside his criminal past. This broke the relationship between the brothers, and Aaron has operated alone ever since. As the Prowler, Aaron is Miles' arch enemy. Though not possessing any enhanced superpowers of his own, Prowler wields an array of high-tech weaponry, such as shockwave-emitting gauntlets and mechanical wings. Upon finding out the new Spider-Man's identity, the Prowler uses it to blackmail his nephew into working for him. This eventually results in a violent conflict between the two, which ends with Aaron seemingly being killed by the unexpected explosion of his own shock gauntlet, but not before telling Miles how the young man reminds him of himself. Sad face emoji.
Why did you think we were ghosts?
You're not kidding. Because this isn't a ha-ha kind of topic. You really don't know what happened to Peter Parker?
His mother was killed by police. Apparently, the old Parker luck, where bad things just seem to keep happening, comes with the power set, because if Miles keeps facing difficulty, they'll be calling it the Morales luck soon. Superhero origin stories are filled with family dysfunction, including more than an orphanage full of orphans. Miles was kinda unique then, as he had two parents and a fairly normal childhood at the time he becomes Spider-Man. Though his father, Jefferson, isn't too fond of superheroes or mutants, thankfully his mother, Rio Morales, was a big fan. Unfortunately, Rio meets her end during a battle between Spider-Man and Venom, where stray police gunfire rips through her body. Rio passes away in her son's arms, and her dying moments tells him to never inform his father about his costume identity. However, thanks to Molecule Man, Rio is now alive again. When Molecule Man brings Miles to the Marvel Universe, as mentioned before, he also brings along his immediate family. This includes Rio, now back from the dead, and with no memory of having been killed before. Being Spider-Man doesn't tend to involve getting many cosmic rewards, but this is one gift that Miles could not be happier about.
I had just gotten my powers. Maybe I could have saved him, but I was scared. I didn't do a thing, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life.
His father disowned him. However, much like death in comic books, happiness doesn't last forever, or even a page turn sometimes. Miles Morales' father is Jefferson Davis, who unfortunately shares a name with the former president of the Confederate States of America. During his younger years, Jefferson is a criminal, but when he leaves his lifestyle behind, he also leaves his brother Aaron behind as well. He joined S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while, working as an agent to take down the ultimate version of the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, but left the life after meeting Miles' eventual mother, Rio. So when Spider-Man is forced to reveal his identity to his father, Jefferson's response is one of deep anger. He blames Miles for the deaths of both his brother and his wife and disowns him as a son. Thankfully, the wound heals. When he finally told his dad the truth, his dad blamed his own issues on his son. After seeing the error of his ways, the two finally turn the page on their bad relationship.
Peter Parker saved the world. I was there. He sacrificed himself and saved us all.
He's already appeared on TV. In the comic book world, one of the signs that a new character has hit the big leagues is when they make it to other media only a few years after their invention. In the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, Miles Morales makes his television debut. Perfectly enough, this version of Miles is voiced by Donald Glover, bringing up the Spidey story full circle. Miles first appears on the hit animated show during the Web Warriors season. During the storyline, Peter Parker, voiced by Drake Bell, moves through alternate universes. Along the way, he encounters many of the versions of himself, including Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Ham. In his new universe, Jefferson Davis seems to have died some time ago, and Rio is comfortable with Miles' superheroic, wall-crawling, skyscraper-swinging lifestyle. Miles returned to his own universe, but showed up next season to help Peter Parker battle the Sinister Six. Apparently, he and his mother decide to become a part of Peter's dimension. To avoid confusion, he battles bad guys under the new name Kid Arachnid. That series has ended, but Miles Morales is scheduled to appear in the newest animated version of your favorite wall crawler. The show is simply called Spider-Man.
This isn't gonna make a lot of sense, but it's okay to be afraid. As long as
I don't let fear get in the way of doing what's right. Makes total sense.
Still waiting big screen debut. So now here comes the big question. How and when will Miles make the jump to the big screen? There's no guarantee that he will. Peter is a pretty iconic character, but we wouldn't rule it out either. Back before Spidey joined the MCU and Amazing Spider-Man was still a thing, actor Andrew Garfield expressed enthusiasm for the idea of Miles being brought into the picture. So when Sony and Marvel brokered their now infamous deal, there was some fan debate that Marvel may use Miles instead of Peter as a way of differentiating the prior films. Now that Civil War's out, it's hard to imagine the film without Peter's trademark sense of humor, and given that we've got the youngest Peter Parker yet, we'd imagine that we'll all be seeing this version of Spider-Man for a long time. According to Marvel head honcho Kevin Feige, that doesn't mean Miles won't turn up at some point, though we'd imagine he'd be more likely to appear alongside Peter, as it now is in the comics, instead of replacing him. Plus, it's super interesting that Donald Glover has a role in Spider-Man Homecoming. His rumored character name, Aaron Davis. The Prowler and Miles' sometimes lousy uncle. Mind blown emoji.
I'm gonna miss... It's been good meeting you.
Look, you may not have been able to save the other Peter Parker, but today, you saved me.
Are you pulling for Miles Morales to make an appearance in the MCU in the near future? Let us know in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like this one and check out the playlist for more. Thanks for watching.